stylist. You can ask her a question or whatever, but yeah, she's been so lovely in terms of like putting together the looks and so on, because I'm not creative like that, but she's a genius like that. So yeah, and the moment I saw her demo, I was like, yeah, same wavelength. Tori, Terry, I was like, yeah, we're gonna gel. So yeah, that's Terry. And here we have the lovely Kariba. She is Kinina for the day. And I saw a picture of Karima, and I just looked at her smile, her beautiful smile, her aura. It just reminded me of, you know, my gran. You know, I just felt her essence in who she is, which was so beautiful for me. And I felt like, you know, the heart of Kinina, I'm all about heart. So I felt like the heart of Kinina needed to be translated into the footage. So yeah, hence we chose this beautiful lady over here.
Thank you.
And then this is the lovely Yusra. We've worked together before. We've had clashes. We've had some clashes because I can be a diva. Not even her. But like I said before, like I will have like personal clashes and petty clashes with you. But for me, what I respect about people is your work. If you love your work, for me, you always have my respect. And, you know, I remember seeing her work and I'm like, this is it. And I remember somebody saying, no, I think that is so-and-so's work. I'm like, no, it's not. So, yeah, Yusra, I love working with her because she loves her job. She loves what she does. It's art for her, and yeah, I can't speak personally for her, but like I love it, and you see how she loves her work, how it translates, you know. So yeah, hence we have her here.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I love your work.
Your one diva work.
I think more than anything, the heart behind it, you know, Kinina was my gran, as we all know. And I've always felt like had she lived in a different time, you know, she would have created amazing things in this life. But unfortunately for her, she lived in a time that wasn't, you know, friendly towards, you know, people of her color, you know. And I felt as though, you know, my gran and I are sort of like kindred spirits in a sense. So I felt as though because of who I am and her heart that I knew to be the heart that I have, I felt like I wanted to dedicate something, you know, something big, something that is amazing, something that I know had she had the same opportunities that she fought for me to have, she would have accomplished great things, you know. So yeah, I feel like I just wanted to you know, put her name out there, you know, and honor who she was and the heart that she had for herself, for her family, for people. Yeah, and that's the legacy I want to leave behind, you know, the heart for people. And of course, yeah, this is the main lady.
Hello, how are you?
This is Andrea.
Hi.
Like I said, you know, for me, when I choose people to work with, I'm very picky.
Yeah.
I look for people that, you know, they have the same heart as me in terms of loving what they do. And I remember I had been looking at this chick and I'm like, damn, I love this girl because she does what she does and she does it with passion. Aww. And I remember we had a shoot one day.
Yes.
And I was like, actually, I have an idea. Why
I
don't
remember
you
it was
take
a
this
business
thing?
shoot, and straight after you messaged me, and I was like, at first I was nervous. I was like, someone sees my potential. What if I let them down? But she really built me up and inspired me, and I took this project on board, and I got so excited because she's so passionate about her product and the meaning behind the story. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm very happy to be a part of the shoot.
Thank you so much, darling.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
And then over here, come Farah.
Come, don't be shy.
This is Farah. The beautiful, the gorgeous, of course, the superstar. This is Farah. I worked with Farah before. I was her mommy in one shoot. I think when I saw Farah, I feel like one of my biggest fears were realized, because I always say to my mom, gosh, I pray that I don't give birth to a me when I have a child. And when Farah was my daughter for a shoot, I was like, oh my gosh, this child's personality. She's a me. She's a, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous, but she's spicy. She's opinionated. She's got that feisty fire in her. So hence I chose this lovely baby over here. She's amazing. So she will be playing a younger version of me, along with Kariba, in our introduction shoot for Kinina. When I look for people that I want to work with, I always look for myself in people. And the reason for that is because I'm very picky in terms of who I work with. And also, I love what I do. And I love people that love what they do. If you love what you do, you get my respect. We can be in a space where personally we don't like each other, but I will respect a person that loves their job. And I remember thinking I need help with this thing, and I was doing a shoot one time, and there was this producer, and I've always looked at her, I'm like, I love this girl, and that day we're doing a shoot, I was doing a shoot for her, and it clicked on me, I was like, this is the key person to have, to champion what I want to translate with Kinina. So to answer your question, I think the most important person I have here today who has helped me put this thing together, I think it's Andrea Holtz. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. So she's here, and she's put together this team, to bring my vision, to reality.
Well, and it's going to be black and white, no? Okay. Yeah. So where should I place it? Should I place it under here?
So we're setting up here. We're setting up for the picnic spot. So the reason for that is because my gran and I had this sort of a ritual thing that we did where we would have tea and conversations, or conversations over tea. My gran loved tea. So I think those were our intimate moments where she would share a lot of her wisdom with me, and she would ask me questions about, what it is that I want or I'm struggling with and so on. So I think a lot of her heart, I gathered in those moments alone with her. I think I had that privilege, of spending a lot of time with her like that, which, I cherish a lot. So this is a recreation of like one of those moments. So this is Kay, the lovely Kay. Hi. She is our photographer for the day, right? So she'll be creating magic along with Sipho, who is our videographer for the day. Sipho, come say hi. Loved working with Sipho. This is Sipho. I worked with Sipho in one of their projects. I was a model for them, and yeah, we had fun.
Big fun.
We had big fun. So when Andrea told me he's gonna be the videographer, I was like, yay, let's do it. I'm all about energy. I'm all about chemistry. So yeah, this is the team. And key people that I also have here are my parents. And I think it was an intentional thing to have them here, because I'm this person who's always doing things by myself. I don't ask for help. And it's not that my parents are not helpful people. They are helpful people. It's just that, I realize I have this thing where I do things by myself. So I had, been intentional to say, I'd ask for help, because asking for help, even if you don't need the help, asking for help is also including people, bringing people into the vision. And by virtue of me not asking for help, I exclude those I love, and they feel like they're left in the sidelines. So yeah, I think it's exciting to have them here. They know me personally, and they know, these crazy visions that I have. But I think it was important to have them here, because they've been through this whole year with me, of me just sacrificing everything and, coming back home. And they're like, but you're so well educated, why don't you get a job? And so they've been supportive throughout all of that, even though sometimes there were days where they didn't understand, but they just knew the person that I am. And I felt like this is, you know, it's a great sort of celebration for them to see what it is that, you know, they have been in the discomfort with me. You know, they saw me on my worst days, you know, and now they hear and they like, flip, this is what, you know, this child has been talking about, you know, this thing. Because, you know, my mom says sometimes, you know, when she listens to me, she listens to me and looks at me and thinks, oh, some of these things, some of these dreams, it's like you have to put ladders just for you to get to them and get to realize and see them. And sometimes we're sitting there at the bottom of that ladder and we're like, what? Is she crazy? But knowing her, you know, me, we know she will do it. So yeah, it's beautiful to have them here, because I feel like they played part of, you know, of me coming to this point, and it's a celebration point, and I wanted them to take part and be part of it. So this is my lovely mom. She is the woman that has raised me, and you know, she is the person who's made me who I am today. Yeah, she is Kinina's daughter, of course. There would be no me without her. And this is my dad, Eric Ndabazalila. Ndabaza, as other people say. Yeah, so he's here also because, you know, they've been supporting me. They're putting things together now. They've been picking up gowns for the shoot, putting things together, dropping me off, and making sure that I have everything that I need, you know, for today, and also just for Kinina. I think they've been really supportive throughout this year for me, whilst I needed to do, you know, all the, you know, the background work that, you know, a lot of people don't get to see. You know, they had to tolerate my moods. But yeah, this is my dad.
Okay, no, that's fine. Guys, we're going to quickly do the picnic one more time.
Okay, thank you. Just dig in and find the smaller ones, which is the serum. Unless I forgot them upstairs. Yes, those ones.
Stunning. I want to get a wide shot of everything, just like I did with
Okay.
the earlier models.
Thank you very much. Where do I sit? How do I sit? How do you want me?
Facing that tree over there. That tree. And then
So you want me
I think like kind of
yes.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Just fiddling with for now.
Okay. Maybe like sunscreen
Yeah.
or something.
Sunscreen is in the basket.
But there should be more in there, isn't there?
Yes, glow complex.
Or we can replace the sunscreen.
Man.
Or we can replace the glow complex with the sunscreen.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
You just okay.
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Thank you.
Amazing. Glow complex. So I was also thinking, little K,
Yes.
of like making like a little backdrop of white linen, and then like cutting some lemon, placing some aloe, and then putting
that's
the product
nice.
there.
Yeah.
Hi.
Something?
1 second, let me go up there. Yeah.
Papamani has always been an entrepreneur. From a tender age of 9 or 10, I think, that was 2006, she started making beads and selling them. From my friends and from whoever was around us. And even at school, she was selling sweets. So she has always been an entrepreneur.
It seems it's running within the family, especially with the women in that family. Because if you hear stories from her mother, the grandmothers were involved, some in small businesses, even from the rural areas in the Eastern Cape. Even her mother has got that entrepreneurial spirit. It started in our lounge, it became so disorganized because she had oils and buckets and everything. We decided, let's move out of the lounge. Let's go to the garage. So we've put up a nice place in the garage where she manufactures these products of hers. She's come a long way. She's even produced a book, a children's book, which I think she's put aside now. She's supposed to be taking, I think, for a second edition, but I think she's put that aside now to concentrate on this. So I'm trying to say she's got that spirit, entrepreneurial spirit, a creative person, and she's also a very focused person, goal-oriented, a hustler, that's what they call them these days, a hustler who knows what she wants and what she wants to do. And it's something that's very interesting for young people of today. Because young people of today, they start things, they drop them, and then they start something else, and they drop them. But she seems to be moving in a different direction.
For me, I've had mixed feelings because as an entrepreneur myself, I think we come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I've always been very supportive of her on her entrepreneurial spirit, but the way I took it, that it should be as a hobby part of thing. So I've been pushing her to go into formal employment and do this on the side, but she's always had a different view. So only until recently that then I started feeling, okay, well, things are really now starting to shape up. But at the beginning of all this, like any mother, I thought, you've got an honors degree, why don't you go and do, say for instance, be a spokesperson for a company and blah, blah, blah. And it has been tough at the beginning. And also for her as an entrepreneur, starting from as little as nothing. Right? But I think now I'm starting to see where this is really going. So I must say I'm proud.
Here we have Mr. Ngwadi. Mr. Ngwadi is my mentor. He is my business mentor. He's been a friend to me. He's been guiding me in terms of how to, shape my vision, and I think the key thing that I always say to him that I appreciate about him is that, he listens to me. And when he listens to me, I feel heard and I feel understood, because I think I spend a lot of my time, feeling like, people don't actually understand this vision or this thing that I'm talking about. Whereas when I have a conversation with him, he's like, I feel he gets it, he gets where I want to go. And the other key thing that I appreciate so much about him is not only does he get it, he also shows me how to maybe level up that vision. So take it to the next level. So that is key. And I'm like, wow, I never thought of that. So yeah.
When I first met Papamani, I even said to her, I thought she's a raven. A raven is a bird. It's black in color, very strong, resilient, very curious, observant, always looking around, for new things as it flies around. So I always thought she's a raven because, when we spoke the first time, she told me her vision. She listens, she paid attention, she's observant, about the things that we discuss, and more importantly, she gets involved and she implements things after we've spoken about them.
I got a bit emotional actually when she shared her dream, the idea of how she wanted her shoot to be around. She explained there was a time when I left at home with my mom, and as a little kid she had this bond with grandma, and I was out there at university. So the story is centered around that relationship. So when she shared that story with me, I got a bit emotional. It was beautiful. I mean, I love stories. So when I listened to her, to what she was telling me, for the first time, I started seeing this thing when you see the puzzle starts shaping up. So, wow, I'm really, really, really proud of her.
I'm not that tired, hey. We're doing last things now, like last minute things. What time is it?
7 o'clock.
11:15? Yeah. What time do you need to go? You can go, hey? Because I said 11 to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can go.
But when are you finishing?
When are you finishing? Like 12?
1, 12.
1, 12.
I'll stick to 12.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
He likes it, yeah.
Are we buying this house, Jacob?
Soon. And what
Did you
he
chat
gave me?
with him?
Yes.
What do you think?
No, you'll just have to see the footage coming.
I hate you.
Of course.
These videographers hiding secrets in the lenses, eh?
It's quite insightful. I was very skeptical because I'm not very good with males. So when I realized I was allocated a male mentor, I was like, oh my gosh, a father figure, oh Lord, and he's closer. Because I was like, oh my goodness, because yeah, no. But then, yeah, he's such a blessing.
When we started having, discussions with Papamani, I said, differentiation can emerge from a generality. If you look at cars, for instance, there's all sorts of cars. So cars are a generality, but a Porsche is a differentiation from that generality. A Ferrari, is a differentiation. So you've got to look for a niche, for what you're good at doing and stick to that niche. And that niche, as part of your differentiation, it goes through the product, who's the target customer. You can't compete on all markets. So where do you want to compete? And you've got to be branded for that particular customer and for that particular market.
A project like this, number one, doesn't start with seeing a Range Rover, Mini Cooper, and so on. It starts with the commitment and the passion. She's got those. And it's likely, very much likely, I see it prospering into something big. It will not happen today, it will not happen tomorrow. I've never been involved in business, but I've seen people's businesses where some people want to get into a business now, get a Range Rover tomorrow, and then it collapses on the third year. Businesses, I've heard, I think I've read, they take at least 5 years before you can even break even and make profit at some time. So I see what the basics of something like this are there. That is your compassion or your commitment and be focused and love what you're doing. She's sacrificing almost most things just to concentrate on this, which shows that there is a huge, huge, huge chance of a success. I see it blooming at some point.
Kinina Africa is going to be an international brand. It may not compete, with products in this market, but as we've had discussions, and we've looked at options, we think there's a niche where the brand can thrive, if the target market and the target customer is well defined.
It's nice. And I just wanted to read, how can I say, today we're launching a new range of skin products as well as hair care, specifically targeted at hair growth and also skin healing and maintaining, your acne breakouts, and also to reduce hyperpigmentation and dark marks. So that was important for me. I wanted products that, were very functional in terms of targeting a specific problem area, We have a hair growth tonic, which was formerly known as a hair growth mist. We've improved that. It smells amazing. And I was actually listening to the models because I wanted to hear, their feedback in terms of the products. And they love how the product smells and sits. So that's been amazing. The range itself, it's very citrusy. So you will see, I think the gent, the guy model really loves this oil over here. This is the Golden Crown Grow Oil. This is one of my favorites because you can also use it as a facial oil, preferably at night because it's very citrusy, so it can make you sensitive, but it helps with dark marks. It's amazing. It feels amazing on the skin also. Yeah, and then we have this is my favorite, one of my favorites also. Very tiny, but very powerful. This is the rose hips oil. The rose hips oil is, for anti-aging. I don't look old, but yeah, I can tell that I'm aging, I see a bit of like fine lines, and I think this has been such an amazing, product. It's so tiny, but so powerful. Yeah, Radiant Youth Oil. And then we have, there's 4 of these, but I only have 3 of them here. We have these 50 mils, so it's sunscreen. It's an aloe sunscreen. Again, back to the theme of Kinina, using, it's all about using plants and herbs and so on. So aloe for healing, amazing. So this is the sunscreen, and it's a moisturizer. It's more of like a sunscreen moisturizer, so it doesn't have a white cast. It's great to moisturize your skin. It keeps your skin moisturized. Amazing. I love it. And then we have the Glow Complex. This is also my personal favorite. I think out of all the products, I think this is like my golden one because I do struggle with a bit of hyperpigmentation, and this is amazing for hyperpigmentation. Also, the smell is very fruity. Love it. And then we have, this is the goddess. We have the Zip Zapper anti-acne cream. So this has been so amazing because I think building up to, the launch, the relaunch, I've been stressing so much, breakouts. I've had so much acne to deal with. I went from having this flawless skin to like pimples all over, dealing with cystic acne, and this has been great. Yeah, it's very powerful. Like you could use it as you can use it as a moisturizer if you have like acne, a lot of acne on your face. It's great for healing. But you can use it also as a zit zapper, where you just take a bit of it and then you put it on the pimple, and overnight you already feel it's healing. Within 2 days that pimple disappears. That's how powerful this looks. So where you can find us is at Kinina Stores with an S, plural, because I want to have like stores within a store type of vision. That's where we're going. So it used to be Kinina Store, but now it's Kinina Stores with an S. .com. So it's just that, kininastores.com. That's our website. It's going to go live on the 15th of January. So it's still kind of locked right now because we're doing, the background work. And also our social media hasn't changed. It's still Kinina Store. You can find us at Kinina Store. All those products will be there. They linked to each other. Our platforms are linked to each other. So if you are on the website, you can easily get into the different social medias. We're working to, partner up with a selective range of stores because also considering the brand and the vision that we have for the brand, we're very, specific in terms of which stores we want to be at. So that's currently also like in the background. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I think that's the next step now, where once I'm done with this, I can work intentionally now with those relationships or conversations that I've already started with different retailers. So yeah, praying for that.
From me as a mother, knowing her, I know she's a go-getter. I know she's a dreamer. I know she's a visionary. I know she's a hard worker and she's resilient. So I think she's got all the tools that she needs. But as a mother, I would just say, do not change who you are. don't change, keep going, and also keep God also in your journey as your compass, and also make sure that when you are on top there, you do not kick the ladder. You make sure that you keep the ladder standing so that you can also help other people to realize their dreams.
For Papamani is the support is there. She knows. It's guaranteed. We'll go anywhere for her. If she needs anything from us and she tells us, we'll be there for her. Where we can't, we'll try and provide support. We'll even go and hustle something somewhere to ensure that she gets all the backup she needs. I'm sure for this Kinina product, this project is going to be successful. And I will pray and go anywhere for her. And we'll pray and hope that all her endeavors and her prayers become a success.